Hey, Matt.
Hey, Dad. What's up?
Nothing.
Welcome back.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Pretty cool to be here.
I think you've been on the show enough that I think I'm going to stop putting featuring Matt's dad in the titles.
At this point,
You've become a recurring guest.
You're just a member of the podcast. You're like Jamie on Joe Rogan podcast. We barely ever see him, but he's Jamie.
Joe Rogan?
Oh, well, he's our competitor.
He's some nobody.
He's our competitor.
Why are you laughing like that? You said it that way first.
In the pre-show.
He loves it when his jokes are said.
In the pre-show. These guys didn't hear that.
That's why you got to go back and
You gotta
on
watch
Patreon.
the pre-show.
Yeah.
Welcome to Pop Culture Unboxing.
Yeah.
everybody.
Nice,
Happy
Ryan.
Pop Culture Unboxing,
Yeah,
everybody.
episode 30.
Episode 30, yeah.
Hi,
Congratulations.
Matt's dad. Hi, Zach.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey.
Matt.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi.
What's up?
I feel like utter garbage.
Why?
Why?
Because utter garbage is never mind. This is a kid's show. They don't want to know what's.
Is it your poop issue?
Yeah. Yeah. Utter garbage is just flowing out of
Ryan.
me. Everybody. Is you gonna say everybody poops? Is that what you're gonna do? You're gonna play that game?
Classic book.
Yeah. Who's calling you?
Who's buzzing?
Sorry, reading time. 8 o'clock.
What a nerd.
Not my thing. Mom's thing.
This is reading time.
Apparently, my mom is
It's
starting to read now.
time
8
to
o'clock.
read.
No, everybody. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. You
Reading
guys have
time.
family reading time.
Oh,
Okay.
that's smart.
What?
We all sit down with whatever book we have. Right now, I'm reading Ivanhoe. Have you ever read Ivanhoe?
Why are you just trying to make me feel bad about my own family?
No. It's not my call. If it were my call, it'd be 8 o'clock. Go on YouTube or 8 o'clock. Go on Vudu. But no. I'm reading Ivanhoe, and honestly, I really like it. Sir Walter Scott, and it's written like in 1700s, but it's about knights and damsels and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Really good. I like it. It's like reading Henry James. Henry James, if you have never read him, he's like kind of Melville-ish, where you go into a room and as the author, you describe literally every freaking thing about the room. I'm not kidding. Like what color the blinds are, what color the drapes are, what color the walls are. And they do all that. And kind of Scott is a little bit like that, but I like it. It's like really good. I'm like halfway through. Prince John's in it. It's kind of, the whole Robin Hood thing.
Yeah.
You know how, Matt, I feel
yeah.
about Robin Hood.
Yeah. We won't get into it.
How do I feel about Robin Hood?
You don't like it.
Hate Robin Hood.
Wait, which one?
Like I hate Lincoln. What?
Which
Guys, we're
Robin
not
Hood?
getting into this.
Wait,
We
what?
can't wait.
Wait,
we'll get
guys,
back to it.
speaking of people named Henry,
Okay. I like this. I like this. Keep going.
I have things to talk about
Yeah, like?
that involve men named Henry.
Yeah?
Guys, Henry.
Multiple?
Well, one man
Okay.
named Henry.
Who is it? Henry?
Henry Cavill.
I
Cavill.
like him.
He
Wait.
played-
Didn't he play Superman?
Yeah. Guess
I
what?
like him.
It's no longer did he play Superman. It is doesn't he play Superman because he's coming back to
Nice.
play Superman. Wow.
Nice.
Me dying of dysentery just really helps me on this show. I need to
We
die
hope that doesn't happen.
more often. But guys, Henry Cavill's coming back.
Wait, is that a diaper you're giving Ryan?
No, I keep
Why
hearing the
so
mouse.
salty?
I
You're
keep
gonna
hearing the
find out.
mouse click on the table. I'm like, that's not good.
Anyway, yeah, Henry Cavill's coming back.
Is he going to
guys.
keep the mustache and have them CG it out again, or
No,
what?
so
No,
most likely
enough
that
with the mustache.
that scene was filmed by what's his face? The other,
Joss Whedon.
Josh Whedon.
Yeah.
Josh.
Joss.
Jaws.
Jaws
Dun,
Whedon.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
Just
See, he got the
I
joke.
know.
But Joss Whedon, that was a scene by him, so
Okay.
that probably won't exist. He's apparently coming back. Although,
Nice.
Well, can I ask a question?
sure.
Coming back in the Zack Snyder cut or coming back like in a new version?
Glad you just asked me because I just found the part of the article where it says it's just
How
a cameo.
convenient.
It's just a cameo in he'll basically be playing Superman in like upcoming like cameos. So like Aquaman 2, so the Suicide Squad, the Batman, I guess.
So are they not refilming him in the Zack Snyder cut? Or is that
No, 'cause-
happening or is that not?
So the Snyder Cut thing is happening. It's just he can't. Snyder was not given enough money to like have them come back and reshoot things. So it's the only thing they can really do is come back and add voice lines if they like add
ADR.
like record their voices.
Yeah.
So like it's not.
Probably because that would have also involved like putting sets together, which most of them are probably taken apart at this point.
Well,
Well,
it
they
just
could green screen it.
It makes me mad that he's coming back now for cameos.
That still is
because
like
in
a camera
Shazam.
cruise and
Yeah, what about Shazam?
Oh, I
like
forgot
Shazam.
Shazam. Shazam's probably one of my favorites.
I like it.
yeah,
But
that was a
I'm
cool
with you
that
on that.
was a good
cameo at the end would have been so much better without that fake, because it was so awkward for me when it's just like this part of
when it so
Superman.
clearly wasn't Henry Cavill.
No,
Yeah, it was
absolutely.
his-
They even credited that wasn't him.
Yeah, it was his.
Did
stunt
that
double.
was, they actually got credited.
Oh, is that who it was? I didn't know that's who it was.
Who was
Yeah.
it?
The stunt double.
Yeah,
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it
His
was
stunt double
credited.
came in.
That's pretty cool.
That's funny.
But
I didn't know they credited roles where they don't even see their head and they
Yeah.
don't speak.
So usually, right.
Well,
you're
I
right.
think it
Usually they have
depends.
to speak.
It
but
depends on the director, pretty much.
Even speaking roles, you go on IMDb and you'll see like half of the cast is uncredited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really down to the director if they feel like you did good enough.
All right.
I don't
So
think-
let me ask. Can I throw this out? What did you think of Henry Cavill? Do you like him as Superman, or would you prefer a different person?
Yeah,
Or?
I mean, so I was kind of, I like him as Superman. I looked at Man of Steel a little bit different, differently. I don't even know. man.
Damn
What does
adverbs.
that mean? What are you trying to say?
I looked at him differently than most people in
Meaning?
Man of Steel, because a lot of people that saw Man of Steel, because Man of Steel was very like, it divided the audience, because a lot of people were, I guess, understandably mad because they're like, this doesn't seem like a Superman story. This seems like a stupid man story.
Why?
As people-
Ha 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 ha.
So-
Meaning what?
So a lot of people did not like the fact, so the scene where he snaps Zod's neck, and then just like whines, I reacted to that differently than most people, I guess, or half the internet did, because a lot of people saw it as like, why are you crying about Zod? You just killed billions of people in Metropolis and also in your hometown. Like,
You just leveled a city.
yeah. So like what? So I get it, kinda. But for me, what it was is I looked at that scene as like, Superman did not want to kill anyone. Granted, Zack Snyder was just like, action fills seats, so I'm gonna do this. But Superman, if you know who Superman is, if you know him
I've never
from
met him.
comics and everything like
I
that,
haven't either.
if you know about the character and how he feels, that scene makes a lot of sense. But I can see that if you're someone who doesn't know much about Superman and you just showed up at the theater and saw that, you're probably like, that doesn't make sense. What's
Do you
going
think? I think it's the opposite. I think that if you come into it with a 1950s version of Superman, you're bothered by that because he didn't do those kinds of things. He did like the Spider-Man thing where you just shoot a web and throw the bad guy up stuck on a
comic
web.
book wise, like comic book and cartoon wise. I don't mean like in like the Christopher Lee versions is what I mean.
All right, I guess
Reeves,
I get
you mean?
Christopher
Reeves.
What I say?
But
Christopher Reeves.
Reeves was the original. Reeve
my bad.
was Christopher Reeve.
Oh, I
was
said
the-
Christopher Lee, didn't I?
I think
no.
you did. Yeah,
Christopher
that's what you
Reeve.
I do that
Lee.
way too often.
was the relatively current movie version, but it was like something Reeves
Yeah.
was the first Superman in the series. No relation in an S at the end. But anyway, so you look at the Reeves one from the 1960s or whatever Superman.
It's like defined.
He did well, right, and he did the Spider-Man stuff where he would shoot a web and stick bad guys on there squirming on the web. He didn't kill the people,
Yeah.
almost ever. I don't know that Reeves ever killed one, and in fact, Reeve I don't think ever did even. Christopher Reeve I don't think ever killed anybody outright. But okay, but then that begs the question of going from Man of Steel to Batman versus Superman.
Yep,
Yes.
you're right.
Okay, I got
You
it right.
got it.
You nailed it.
is when Batman's down on the ground and you've got this emotional. He sees this young girl whose parents were killed because of Superman doing all this stuff with Zod. Like there were a heck of a lot of casualties
Yeah.
from his actions.
Yeah, well, where I'm coming from is the fact that when you see, if you have no background, like you don't understand Superman, or you don't know about the character really, when you see
I think he's
him,
calling you an idiot.
when you see
No,
him,
he's
just
not. I know what he's saying.
don't start drama.
No, I know
of
what
my
he's
new
saying.
dad.
Come here, bud.
But when so if you come into that not knowing who Superman is or really understanding who the character is, you see him destroying a city which is causing casualties. And then he cries over the one man who is helping him destroy the city. I can see from an outside standpoint that doesn't really that's kind of strange. But if you know but most people just kind of get an idea who Superman is just from like how big it's. You've never read a Superman comic, right?
I've read one or two.
Oh, have okay.
I don't know that I ever have.
So I do have an opinion on that one, which is I think that that view of it is that he's like crying over Zod is incorrect.
Well, that's because he's not crying over Zod.
He's crying. He's trying to deal with the fact that he just took a life.
Yeah.
And in the previous parts, he's trying to stop it, but he doesn't want to have to take somebody else's life because that's what his dad had been teaching him the whole time. Is you need to be able to control yourself.
But that's
so like him breaking is him like actually dealing with the fact that he just took someone's life.
Yeah, but to a lot of people when they saw that, it was just it. A lot of people didn't really see it as he just killed Zod. He's crying because Zod's dead. It's just the fact that he's crying that he took a life because he doesn't want to take lives. But then if you rewind 15 minutes, there's a lot of people dead right now.
All right, but okay, so I want to throw that in. Okay, so kind of along with what Zach's saying, not Zack Snyder, Zach who's here with us now.
Zach Green is here.
Me.
Not to be confused with Zack Snyder.
Little Leaf. And the question is...
Little underscore leaf.
Little underscore leaf. L-I-E-F.
Very important distinctions.
All right, there's no way that movie got like the poor reception because of one little incident at the very end where he's crying.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm using that as an example. I'm saying that's one of the examples I saw on the internet that people.
So what else do you think it was that there was the issue with the reception of the movie?
A lot of people did not like Superman's dad's death because his death makes no sense.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it, there's no reason. See, even like in the Christopher Reeves version of Superman, like his dad, his adopted dad, I guess, is really. I'm trying to think what's the best way to put this. He knows that his son has, like in one case, Clark when he's younger says to his dad, he's like, I'm going to go play sports because I'm going to be better than everybody. And
he tells him
his
to
dad
hold
says
back.
Well, in the other one, he says, instead of just telling him like hold back to hide who you are, he says, but you can do all these things. Why would you waste it for fame, basically for fame and everything like that?
Right.
Where in the other one, it's just his dad is trying to hide that his son is a superhero, but his son could do things. He doesn't try to like really push his son in a way to really be like, just be a better person. Clark just kind of figures it out by his dad being like, giving a quick little speech while he also tells him stop doing that. Like he saves those kids in the bus, a bus from drowning, but then he just scolds him for it. And then he's like, well, what do you want me to do? And then he goes like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But also his dad took there's also the part that his dad took that metal, the thing that has his symbol for hope on it, his family crest, that metal piece. He takes
that everyone knows really means Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. He took it. Yeah. So he took it to apparently a guy who like a metal shop, and the guy looked at him and said like, this is strange metal, man. I don't know what it is. And then gave it back to him instead of being like, this is probably worth money.
Yeah, right.
I could make millions.
There's just and like the tornado scene doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
because the what scene?
The tornado scene, because
he
goes back to save the dog.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Which is fine.
Why? What did you like about the tornado scene?
So I think his dad, because with the way that the DC universe is going, although I don't think the DC universe is very good at this point, is going in a more dark direction. And his dad the whole time is trying to get him to understand that he can't use his powers when he wants, but when he has to, and when he has to take responsibility for something. And that's the whole point. And his dad was willing to give up his life to wait for the right moment to start doing those things.
That's what his dad does in Christopher Reeve's version. The other one, in this one, he doesn't. In Man of Steel, he does.
Yeah, he does.
No, so it's
the
way he words it to him is it's telling him it's not use your abilities. He says don't use your ability. He doesn't want him to use his abilities at all because he's afraid that his son will be taken away from him. It's it's
So I'd
more-
rather die.
But like,
that's-
yeah,
that's
and,
the-
and like you could have just sent him out there and spun it at, and when he comes back perfectly safe, spun it as, he's really lucky that tornado didn't suck him up.
And that's the
Right.
so that's what one person had said about it, because what I saw it was at the time when they're all rushing back. He is Superman. He can fly and run faster than the speeding bullet. He could have been in there and had the truck
Right,
out of the way.
right,
Yeah.
right,
By the time everyone would have turned around.
right. And he
It's-
knew at that age,
it
he
was-
knew he could.
The only reason
Right.
his father was killed
He's a teenager in that scene,
in
right?
that.
No, he's
No,
older
he's
than
kind
that.
of kind of like
Or is he an
18,
adult?
20 something.
19.
Yeah.
Oh,
or-
okay.
Yeah.
But
It's been a while since I saw
But,
it.
and that's like the thing is like Zack Snyder wrote that scene of his dad dying in a tornado because they needed some kind of emotional
Right.
stake. That's all. That's
Right.
and it's very clear because in the original ways of Superman father dying, it's a heart attack just in the middle of the farm. Like
Which makes
That's
more
right,
sense.
That's right. In the original Christopher Reeve.
Well, that makes
yeah.
sense because that's a death that how is Superman can't save him.
yeah.
Well,
Like-
right. I think that would have been a better.
And like you're going off the idea that your son will just take the fact that I could have done something, but I just said no.
But the
Dad put
problem
his
is
hand
there's
up.
not enough in what you're talking about, Matt. Is not there's not enough CG.
Yeah.
There's not enough noise. There's not enough things flying around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they
Because
would go
God
with that.
forbid you give your two characters a quiet moment to have a moment
Right.
and
Right.
you know
All
create
right.
a genuine emotional attachment.
So Matt, so this comes back to why do you think that? Well, let's start again.
Did you like Man of Steel?
Me?
Yeah. Did you like it?
You know what? Okay.
I mean-
I really like the DC universe. I know I'm not
I do
supposed
too.
to.
I do
I know
too.
that you're supposed to look at the DC universe as, as Deadpool says, you're supposed it's so dark,
Yeah.
and all
Why are
that.
you so
You're
dark?
And I get that.
No, you're a normal person. You're allowed to have a different opinion than other people.
So I kind of like the DC universe, and I like it that it's a little bit more cerebral than the Marvel universe. The Marvel universe,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's no mental aspect in it.
You
It
don't
is
wanna-
100%.
You don't want
boom,
only 300
bang.
people to die in 3 world
But
tragedies.
yeah, I think that's
Right.
the issue
Number
is
300.
that the
You know?
DC movies are trying to be more cerebral, but with all the same punchy action fights as Marvel, and you can't really have both.
No, I think we're this, and I disagree. I think we're the DC.
I think they want Marvel money. But
That's-
they
Well,
want
everybody
that's
wants
cerebral,
Marvel
obviously.
money, but no, where I disagree with that is I think where DC drops the ball a little bit is Marvel benefits by the quippy, Tony Stark kind of snarky responses, and there's not any of that in DC. The closest you got was that, pathetic example of the Flash in the DC Justice League universe. I kind of like that kid. I like him as an actor, and I think that they sort of butchered what they could have done with him. Is that he was sort of the current Spider-Man of the Marvel universe? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And I just think that DC tends to be a little bit more. What would this really be like? Where Marvel doesn't give a flying crap what it really would be like. They
Yeah.
just want to sell tickets. They want to butts in the seats and all that. And so I don't know. I mean, okay, first, before we go any further, who has pretty much seen all the DC and all the Marvel movies? Zach.
I have not.
You're just
Only
gonna put
because
us
I
on the
got
spot
uninterested.
like
I am
this.
going to put you on the spot. Zach, what have you seen?
I saw Man of Steel, and then when Batman versus Superman came out, I was completely uninterested.
Okay. But you've seen all the Marvel movies.
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Matt.
All the Marvel movies, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman.
Aquaman?
No,
Okay.
I saw bits and pieces when we were at the beach.
So you haven't seen it, period.
No.
Okay. Ryan.
I mean, this seems like all of them.
This is his moment. This is his moment.
And if your guys
Gold
you have the
like
luxury
the
of
gold
being
light shining down on me.
if like you have the luxury of seeing this on video, this side of the table has seen all of it. And in some cases we've seen multiple times all of it.
In some
That
cases,
side
some
the
of us
table has not.
In some cases, some of us have a bingo sheet that just says, "I saw that in comics. I saw that in the comics."
Okay, and I have to admit, I have not seen. I'm not a comics person right now. When maybe 30 years ago,
I'm
okay. Truth be told,
I will say I'm not a.
Truth be told,
not a comic book reader.
Truth be
anymore.
told, Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, comic book as a kid. Loved it. Loved it. I mean, I was so. And Spider-Man. Okay, so that's my background. Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer. Pretty much the only thing I remember in comic books. But as far as movies goes, what we're talking about right now, I'm with Ryan. I've seen it all, and a lot of them a few times. I mean, I've seen Wonder Woman a couple times. I've seen Aquaman a few times. I've seen Justice League a couple times. And I'm probably the only person on the planet that has seen Batman versus Superman more than once. I really like it.
Have you seen Batman v Superman, the extended cut?
Why would you torture yourself more?
Because
It's
I
not
liked it.
torture.
I thought I heard that one version was better.
Yeah, that
Like,
one.
it's
that
not
one's
torture.
That one's like a version that wasn't. A lot of the scenes that were. This is where Warner Brothers said this is too dark, and then they cut the scenes that made the film better. But instead
Yeah.
of keeping
if
the
you're gonna, I think that's like my thing for movies, and I think I'm kind of like how I mentioned with Star Wars before. If you're gonna make a movie of something, the movie itself has to be logically consistent. So you can't pull from the other things in order to say that the movie was good. And
What do you mean? Wait, explain.
So like in the Star Wars universe, the prequels,
Right.
like the prequels themselves don't do a very good job of explaining how you got from point A to point B. So like without getting too much into it again, because I think I've said this a couple times on here, like
back to like the Clone Wars makes the prequels better. and
Yeah.
it shouldn't be.
well,
that way.
it's like in order to get Vader in the prequels, there was no real destruction of a belief system. So Anakin goes from I want to protect my wife to I'm willing to kill children. If you're just watching the movies. So if you have the background in it, you're like, oh yeah, I know what happened to get him there,
Right.
and I enjoy watching it because I already know the other stuff. But if you're just watching the movie, it doesn't make sense. So that's why, like in Man of Steel, I really like Man of Steel because the whole point was that they made Superman more. He had this idea of like when those kids are like pushing him around, like he's like, okay, I'm just gonna clock you because I know that I can just like devastate you. And his dad was like, you can't use your powers. It's like you've got to learn to deal with it deal with life without using your powers because it's not right. You need to do it right. And that's the
Ryan
point.
is
So
looking
that's
like
why
he's
I
ready to
like
respond.
that's why I like the Man of Steel setup. So even though it's not necessarily like original through the movie, I believe that it's consistent. And that's why I like how his dad dies, because his dad was saying, listen, you don't get to use your powers for your own good.
But the only thing I'm going to say to that is don't use your powers. But in that bar scene where the guy just spills his beer on him, instead of fighting him or kicking him out, he chooses to walk outside and then take that guy's tractor and trailer truck.
Oh
and
yeah.
use his powers to just jam a bunch of logs through it. Which
Which
gotta deserve it.
again, I know. See, I don't buy that. I disagree with you on that. I think that
That was a good bit of comedy. That was probably like
it was more
It
comedy.
was
Yeah,
comedy,
right.
But
which
at
was
the
good.
same time,
And
it's
he's
like,
also
don't
a
use
drifter at that time. The guy's never going to see him again.
I understand that.
It's to further that plot that he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's not Han Solo killing Greedo without any
I
provocation.
agree, but when the guy like gets up and pushes him, and the guy flies against the wall instead of Superman, like all he could have done is did this,
Right.
and just carried him outside and dropped him and said, "You're out of here, buddy." And I feel like his boss would have been like, "Good job, Kent." Like,
Right.
good
Well,
job.
and I do think that was kind of like Superman's arc behind that was being told his whole life he couldn't use his powers, then trying to figure out, okay, when should I?
Okay, but can I jump in on this? Mm-hmm. Isn't that all of us? And I think that's what I like about DC. Mm-hmm. That's all of us. Like, okay, I'm sorry, I can't relate to Captain America other than the spindly little twerp prior to him getting the magical potion.
this all day.
Yeah, like the magical potion. Prior to that, I relate to him completely. But like after that, sorry. I mean, other than maybe his emotional motivations, I get.
He's such a Boy Scout.
He kind of is, which is I'm okay with. But like, and I think that's kind of why I like DC is that there's a truth to that. Like we all have power. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, and
I'd caution against that though, because I don't think the idea is that you're supposed to be able to relate completely with every Marvel character. They're built as more of being parts of an ensemble. And so Captain America is supposed to represent the best of them.
right.
And then there's each of them represents a different part of that
Yeah.
ensemble. So there's a place in there where you can find something to relate to, but it might not necessarily be Captain America.
If I'm using this correctly,
it's the confusion of what Stan Lee has always stated, that all of his the way he had first stated a while back, he said, I create these characters so that everyone can relate to them. He means like individual characters within the universe. He doesn't mean like you're not going to relate to the Hulk, Captain America, and Iron Man, because that would be crazy.
Yeah, like for an example, I've never really understood why a lot of people relate with the Hulk. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that it tends to be younger people who wish that when they get angry about something, that they could just grow bigger and smash their problem.
I think it's a lot of people with anger issues.
Probably.
Because the anger issues are that's a part of you that's inside that you try to keep away.
Yeah, I think I've never been an angry person, so I've never understood it.
Well, the fun thing about the Hulk is you don't have to sit and watch all the human emotion. You just get to watch them beat.
Yeah,
you just beat
turn
stuff.
your brain off,
and it's just, you just get to watch and enjoy. I think that's why people like.
All right,
Hulk.
but I would bring it back
guys.
to DC on that. DC doesn't do that, and that's why I kind of like DC.
And I do think that I think the point I was trying to get to before is I think they need to go all in with DC, because they're kind of going back and forth where like they kind of want to do the Marvel thing where there's some funny parts in it, and they're trying to get to some archetypes, kind of like how Marvel's like all archetypes, and then you get into DC where like I want it to be real, where they're humans and each person is dealing with their own thing, and nobody's perfect, and like everyone's on this journey, but it's
kind of like Amazon's The Boys.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a good one. But
okay, hang on.
It's hard.
They're sitting over here giggling about this because earlier there was a discussion where it got brought up as something that they wish they'd discussed a couple episodes back, just to get you guys all in on the joke.
Yeah,
that's great.
But real quick, I want to. This
We're
says
pulling up pictures to look at them.
Yeah,
well, we have the video.
I'm
format.
not worried about it. So
yeah, but the video format's not going to get posted.
So
anyway,
what are you saying, Ryan?
What I just wanted to say is we have a show, and I've got more things to talk about. So I got to wrap. I got to stop you. But just my rebuttal to what you said about
everybody shut up except what Ryan said.
They're jumping between shut up, Don. I forgot your name for a second there.
You were totally going to say
That's
dad.
Dad.
You were totally going to say dad.
I'm going to say dad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so sweet.
Where you said that DC is jumping back and forth between whether they want to be Marvel or not. That's not what they're doing.
I don't.
So
agree.
it's
I
the
agree.
fact that
I agree with Ryan.
the order of how these films actually come out, and you can see it, is they started out dark, and then they realized no one wants to see a dark Justice League, so then they moved. Because all their films that people are really loving are all lighter tone shows. So that's what the future is going to be.
But then there's Joker.
Joker's not a part of the DC
No,
universe.
that's
That's
not part
it's
of the DC
the side
universe.
thing.
I'm hoping they learn from it a little bit. Is that people can handle more character-driven, less action CGI films.
Agreed.
That are more cerebral.
I know, but Suicide Squad is a perfect example. And also, what was
That's
the one that nobody watched?
Suicide Squad.
Besides, I actually like Suicide Squad. What was the other
That's
one?
what I was thinking of
No,
with
what was
Suicide Squad, was because like they want to be dark and very serious and realistic, and then they jump to Suicide Squad.
You mean Birds of Prey?
Birds of Prey.
That's what
Nobody
you're trying to
watched.
say?
Yeah.
I don't think
I
anybody but the
love
family
that.
members of the people who were in the movie.
I just want to say I love that movie. If you
I didn't
have,
see it. I
if
didn't
you
see
have
it.
not,
I have not.
You need to watch it.
I think
It's
that says more
really
about you than it does the movie.
But going back to Suicide Squad.
You're not, Zach. Okay, let's just lay this on the table right now. I understand that you don't like that stuff, but again, you're not the typical nerd. You're the straight man for the show.
But Zach,
Yeah, I
did
know,
you
right?
see Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I
That's
watched Suicide
DC.
Squad. Yeah, it is. And,
all right.
And I thought it was like
Campy.
awkward,
A little campy.
and put together like it.
You don't like that? You don't like the guy with
No,
the tattoo?
no, wait. I don't know if they'll see it, and I'm not going to try to do it. What's her name? And honestly, she's so cute. But
Margot Robbie.
Oh my God, she's so cute. When she's
You think
doing,
she's cute in that? You'll really like her in the
Wolf of Wall Street.
I know, but no matter what she's in, she's so
Watch
cute.
that when your
but
wife's
she's
not
doing
around.
this stuff.
No.
that like dance thing that she was doing,
In
like
the
when-
gold cage?
No, when she was like all the special effects were going around her, and she was. oh my God, I wanted to be like, who is directing this? Stop her from doing that. It's horrible. Like, it was terrible. That, I will admit.
Was that Birds of Prey?
No, it was in, it was in
Suicide
Suicide
it's when they're
Squad.
introducing her
At the
when she's
very
with
end.
the Joker.
No, at the very end. No, not Margot Robbie. I'm sorry. The chick who became Margot Robbie's okay.
the Enchantress.
Yes.
Moon.
Yeah.
Moon, whatever the
okay.
character's name is.
I was so confused. I was
Professor
like,
Moon.
wait.
Professor Moon. She was so cute. So, but she's doing like this dance thing, and I'm like, God, stop it. God, that's embarrassing.
Weirdly enough, I liked that part.
I didn't like
I
that.
was
at
really.
all. I thought it was
I
so-
don't like it how Diablo's dead. I was like, come on. I mean, it doesn't matter. 'Cause
He
it's
was
all
the coolest character.
getting revisited.
Which one? The climber?
Diablo was the one that was
The fire
Controlled
dude.
Fire.
the gangster who killed his family.
I liked
He was
him.
the only
Yeah,
one
he
that
was
I felt
awesome.
like had
I
a
like-
real
I-
character
I like
growth.
I
your-
liked him. You're right. You're right.
I love his
felt like he
story.
was one of the few that had an actual character arc.
Yeah,
But here's the
He
problem:
used
his
his
character arc
powers.
was wrong for what he was the character who was at peace with being in prison, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he goes out. They send him out there.
Force him out.
Yeah, he's
they
forced-
force him out. No,
Yeah,
I
because they're
disagree.
all-
I think
they're
they
all-
force him out, and
So they all get forced into it because
and
he
then
fights using his
sharpshooter.
power.
Then sharpshooter tricks him into using his powers.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah.
And well, his
Floyd.
his story arc was awesome because like he was
It
one of those
was.
guys that just flippantly used his powers, and then he hurt
didn't-
someone he cared about. And he's like, I'm never going to do it again. And the only time he uses it again is when he
he's
goes to protect
tricked,
someone.
and
Yeah.
he's tricked to use
yes,
it.
but in his eyes, it's I need to protect someone.
Right.
Well,
and it's like
tricked-
great, you've
he's
actually
tricked to burn a
moved.
building, but to use his full ability is he's defending the suicides. He's defending his
squad.
friend.
I just love how they introduce an extra person to the Suicide Squad without all like the flashy lights and all that, and then try to make a twist later when he dies.
Who, the climber or the?
that
one was
they,
so
they try to
bad.
make a twist, but
The
he didn't
climber was
get an
terrible.
intro. So like they telegraphed that he was
I know
gonna die.
you could have found a better way to do that, you know, because all they wanted to establish was they're good on their promise. We're going to blow your head off if you do.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's all.
But they
it
should have
was.
But the
It was
thing
lazy
is,
writing though, because it was
was
like
lazy writing.
there's no bring in, like he didn't have any character development. It's like, oh hey, I'm here.
Slipknot.
Dead.
That's his
Slipknot.
name.
Yeah.
Slipknot.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. In that respect, I'm not saying I think that Suicide Squad was like the top of the DC stuff, but I liked it. I did not see Birds of Prey, but I do like.
There's a video you should watch. I believe it's by a YouTube channel called Folding Ideas, and I believe it's called The Art of Editing in Suicide Squad.
Which was not good, I didn't think.
You want to know some little lore about
Yeah,
me?
it's The Art of Editing in Suicide Squad, where he points out a lot of the editing in it.
Why
and
that hurt the movie?
Like he brings up the opening when it's zooming in on the prison, how it goes from I think the Warner Brothers logo that's all bright, and then it zooms in on this real like low contrast image that then the contrast raises and becomes normal. And while zooming across these dark grassy fields, there's text in the bottom right that's all black, so you can barely read it against the almost black ground that tells you where you are. And then it smash cuts to the prison logo. So now your eyes are down on the bottom right of the screen.
Yeah.
Now they've got to go up to the middle. And almost as soon as they land there to look at the logo, a truck drives in front of it. And then once the truck passes it, you're still stuck on the faded word on the right at the top of the logo when it goes into the next room. And so it's just moments like that where there's questionable edits
Right. And
throughout
so,
it.
so you understand by looking at something like that why the Academy Awards has an editing award.
Yeah.
Because there is so much involved in editing.
Yeah.
I get it. See, I
He's pulling
want tats like that. Look at the one on the bottom left.
You're
he's
doing
got,
what you criticize us as
I
doing.
know. Okay,
Well,
so
there's a
you guys
video
who are
footage
watching
now,
this,
but there's
we're
a
looking at the
basically-
Joker's
I'm-
tattoos.
I'm looking at a photo of Jared Leto's Joker from the movie with his tattoos, and the reason I brought this up is there want some lore about me.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, this haha tattoo,
You have that?
I have something kind of like that.
Where?
So on my chest.
It's not going to be like
Oh,
make me
please don't.
blush when I look
So,
at it.
so I have a bat symbol. This is like, I was trying to come up with a Batman Joker tattoo that I wanted, based on the comic book Death in the Family, where Joker cuts off the faces of all of the Bat family.
Which
Supposedly.
who wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, Joker has affected the Bat family in so many ways. So I had a tattoo started.
Ryan's just over here stretching the collar of his shirt real
He
bad.
gave-
we're looking
he
at
gave me- so Jared Leto technically gave me an idea. I have a bat symbol, and then part of the bat symbol breaks off into haws that go down my arm.
Let's see.
Well,
We're gonna have to do this whole
Oh.
show. No, just take the shirt off.
I'm not taking the shirt
It's
off.
getting a little weird.
But see, like I have like the actual like I have Nightwing,
Yeah.
Red Hood, Robin's up here. I've got all my Haws, and then I have broken.
All right,
Bad
so
Girls.
Ryan, just so you know, my 16 and 14-year-old daughters would be like, so cool the fact that you know who Red Wing and all of those guys are.
You don't even know who it is. It was Nightwing.
I do
and,
know who that
and
is.
Red Hood.
No, I know. No, I know who they are. Because honestly, I have learned that Robin,
Wing and Knighthood.
there is like 30
funny.
different Robins. Like I thought it was just Robin. Like
Dick Grayson
Yes,
or-
Dick Grayson. I thought Dick Grayson was Robin. No, wrong. There's like 30 different people who have been Robin. One of them
There
had been
actually
that-
has been. A
I
good
know.
bit of people.
I only knew two of them, Dick Grayson and
No,
what's
there's
the
a
other one everyone
ton
knows?
of them.
Jason Todd,
Jason Todd is the only one. I
Damian
only
Wayne.
knew Jason Todd and Dick
and
Grayson.
then there's Tim.
Tim
Bunches
Geddes.
of them. You watch any of those videos or the cartoons they watch? Oh my god,
I
tons.
I love.
Ryan, didn't you have other subjects you wanted to talk about?
I do have other subjects. We're getting to
We're
it.
already at 36 minutes.
Every time you're
Let's get it
great.
moving then, Ryan.
Okay.
Come on.
Nobody's bored.
look at the end.
Yeah,
of it,
I was
so
gonna say
look,
these are the best ones when we actually get onto a good
every
conversation.
yeah, when he's,
all
when
my
he's
fault.
here, our show is always an hour long.
Actually,
always
I know which one of these I want to bring up next.
All right, which one do you want to bring up? Matt?
So actually, we need to talk about this. After we recorded last episode, the next day, me and Zach went to Ryan's, and we had Chuck E. Cheese pizza, otherwise known as Pasquale's.
Pasquale's Pizza. We had their wings too.
Yeah, the wings
they
were
good?
good.
Oh, they were good.
Yeah, they're actually really
The
good.
pizza was remarkably average.
Did they deliver?
Yeah.
average.
Oh, and they even did the thing. I don't know if you remember the last episode that you
I heard
you
it.
listened.
I did.
I said about there was a YouTuber who made a conspiracy theory that they take old pieces of pizza.
I heard that, yes.
because they're all cut differently.
Yep.
That's how they were served to us.
Yeah.
that's how they all
It
came in
looked like
boxes.
it.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one I think.
And
the
you
pepperoni-
Oh,
ate them?
Yeah,
they were good.
the pepperoni one. I think it looked like it was two different pizzas that were like two halves of different pizzas.
Yeah. Yep.
That's funny.
It was good. They were really good.
I showed up
They were
after
average. They
it
were
was
okay.
partially eaten, so I didn't get to see it like that.
I mean, it was
Yeah,
a lot
that's
better than
fair.
what
You
I
just assumed
expected.
that was normal.
But Matt
Yeah, you
also turned me on to frozen yogurt. And
Yeah.
My God, was the frozen yogurt I had good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
in
was.
Bridgeville, there's a place.
what is it? It's not the smash up place.
Plug them up right here.
Sincerely Frozen, something like that. No, Sincerely Yogurt. I think
And they delivered?
on Uber Eats. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was surprisingly still
Should
frozen.
that be a future show?
Where we eat frozen yogurt.
No, where you just do some Uber Eats stuff.
What we
We
should
could.
do is
Oh,
we
that'd be
should
great.
What we should do is like pick our favorite restaurants and just for like a week or for like a month.
Sincerely Yogurt.
Let's
that's
go
what
to
it's called, yeah.
let's actually record our podcast at different restaurants. Rent out the restaurant to
That'd be
do our
great.
podcast.
That'd be fun.
Hey guys,
That'd be really fun to do it at Chuck E.
But
Cheese.
yeah, so the,
Hey,
the
guys, we have
verdict was
12
in.
listeners.
The pizza was good, but after we ate the pizza, we watched Sonic the Hedgehog, which shockingly Ryan hadn't seen.
Even
And I
though
remember-
I
neither
was
did
the
I.
one that hyped it up
Yeah,
the most.
but what was
Did you
funny?
like it?
Hold on. What was funny though is when we pulled it up to watch it, I noticed Ryan had rented it, and I was in disbelief. I'm like, why didn't you buy it?
Right.
And Ryan, did you
Why
buy it
didn't
yet?
I did.
Okay.
I bought it.
All right, so let me
I
ask
bought
you
it
this
and I've
then.
already watched
like
it.
Yeah.
There's two movies that I'm trying to convince our family to watch. And mom has,
I think I know. Were they
what
the
two
ones?
movies do you think they are?
Gandhi.
No.
Are they
Going
not the
along the
movies?
Sonic idea.
Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
And
Sonic.
Sonic.
Yeah.
They're fun movies.
Well,
They
okay,
are.
tell them. Because I want to watch them, but nobody wants to watch it.
Sonic the Hedgehog was really
I'm amazed
good.
you can't get the younger
Don't worry,
kids to
Dad.
watch them.
I'll watch it with
Okay.
you.
All right.
If
well,
you ever
your
come
dad.
over,
Yeah,
you've
that's
been invited how many times and you won't come over?
Once.
Okay, well.
You're
Get out of here.
horrible. You're a horrible
all right.
adopted son.
Next week.
Yeah.
Never
What are you
showing
doing
up.
Monday?
What's Monday?
The day you're coming
What
over.
do you want?
What's
do you want
the-
to come over Monday night? Watch a double feature, Sonic and Detective Pikachu.
Sure, why not?
Cool.
There you go. I'm going to be getting.
What day
Zach,
is that?
you're invited to.
I would, but I have to prepare.
Whatever. Come
I'm,
over.
I'm going
anyway.
on.
Play
I'm
hooky.
going on a space journey.
You're not.
To
That's
space, to real space.
It's gonna last me 2
Is your-
weeks.
Is your trip next week?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot it was this soon.
I need to borrow.
Wednesday. I heard about this. Where are
yes.
you going?
It like my alibi, or where am I actually going?
Look, I need to borrow you for.
All right, Zach, tell us what you're legally allowed to tell us.
I won't be in Cambodia.
Fair enough.
Okay, that only leaves 181 more countries.
I was gonna say
for
I
him
can
to
just
be in.
speak in negatives this whole time and just tell you what I'm not going to be doing.
Will
and
you
to see
be in
who guesses it.
Zanzibar?
Anyway,
No.
I'm going
why we
fly
bring
fishing.
up the Sonic part is that the Sonic sequel is happening.
Sunday, I
which
need
is
you to
not
come to this
surprising.
house. I need you to be here Sunday night.
What? I can't be. I work Sunday
he's gonna
nights.
give you
I
a
don't
ring.
need you there. I just need to get into your house. We just need access to your place.
We don't need you for this podcast.
Why don't
Where are
you
you going
take
Sunday?
Why don't you take the green screen and lights?
Because I don't have a good set.
What? I'm confused.
I
What am
work
doing?
Sunday nights.
Back to the podcast. Let's go.
He doesn't mean
All right,
Sunday night. He
let's
means
plan
some-
all this after the show.
Okay.
And when there's all these people listening who are not going to be included
They
in
don't
all
care.
of this.
Yeah.
What-
Yeah.
You're gonna be doing
they've been
some
toning
serious
out.
editing, Matt.
They've been toning this out. Yeah, I am going to cut a lot of this. Sonic is getting a sequel.
All right, which is cool. But is it going to be canon?
Of course.
Are we gonna have more Knuckles? More Knuckles fight?
Pull up the article. I know as much as you do right now.
Nobody else cares about the article. So
I do think the first one had enough to build on, especially because like they.
can I ask a question?
Go for
What?
it.
All right, and this is for all three of you,
This podcast
which
went
would
off
be
the
Matt,
rails.
Zach, and Ryan.
It did.
Yes.
I was going to say years ago. Episodes ago,
Mm-hmm.
you guys were just wringing your hands, agonizing over how bad Sonic was going to be because of the trailers that came out.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
so
that was before I was on.
did all of you see Sonic? It wasn't much before
we
you
all-
came on, but you've all seen Sonic.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel now?
I feel super offended with what he just said. It wasn't much before you came.
It really wasn't much. It really wasn't. It wasn't much before Zach came
Yeah,
on.
probably not.
I don't say much, but
no, they
I
fixed
make
it.
it the
It
extra
look-
tier.
It looks great, but what you have to realize is that was the first trailer that got released. When studios release, especially for CG heavy movies like this, when they release that trailer, they're showing you the only CG that's been finished.
Whatever. So,
Well-
how did you feel about the movie that you watched versus what your expectations were?
If they wouldn't have
think-
redone the character,
I think
What?
that's the big. I think that's actually a really important question. Was the criticism before or after they redid the CGI? Because if it was the same movie with the original Sonic character, it would have just been a creepy movie to watch.
yeah, the
Yeah.
original
Just because the
design-
character himself is creepy, and now since he's an actual like hedgehog fun character, the rest of the movie it fits. But if you would have made him like a humanoid looking,
I can explain why that
Yeah.
messes with you. Is the uncanny valley is that the old version just looks a little too close to human like. So you'd spend the
Yeah.
whole movie,
Right there.
no matter how good the jokes and everything were in the movie, your brain would be firing on all cylinders telling you that thing doesn't look right. But now he looks cartoony enough that your brain is fine with it.
Okay.
It just accepts it.
Okay, so I go back to the same question.
Wow, it's
As
so-
you guys were very critical of, hoping that, they're going to go back, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. With what you had said, I'm going to just throw this out as a number. I don't know if it's exact. 6 episodes ago, when you guys were agonizing over the CG of the trailers, how do you feel now? Like, do you feel like it's a movie that you would recommend to people who you want to keep a relationship with for the rest of your life?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
100%.
Like I'm super excited to watch this with my nephews because I know my nephews are gonna love it.
Why?
Yeah, 100%.
It is. It's a.
What is it about the movie that you feel that they would sit there and go, hey, dude, thanks for letting us watch that with you?
I mean, I think I got an idea.
Mostly nostalgia.
Yeah.
But they have
from-
no nostalgia. They're like 12.
But it's also it's a movie that's geared in a way that they don't need to know Sonic to where they're gonna watch the movie and really enjoy it
Why?
because the movie's just really well built. It is
Yeah.
built.
Yeah. It's written very well. And the
Why? Explain.
because oh man, I can't believe I'm about to do this.
You're on the spot.
Because I'm because I know so much about Sonic lore.
You're breaking my rule already.
The story, the story of Sonic is just really bananas. But how they did it with this was really engaging, and the movie is constantly fun. And as I think Matt said it. I think you said it when we were watching it too.
Zach.
Yeah, Zach. Jim Carrey. This was a movie made for Jim Carrey. Like this was
Really?
this was a
Oh,
role.
oh, yeah.
Like, but it
Like,
wasn't sold that way.
This role
It kind of was.
fit him so well.
I'll be
Like,
honest with you, I don't think they built it for him. I think they
didn't.
hired him, and he was just like,
Fixed
and they were
it.
like, he would just do stuff, and they're like, you know what, it's better.
That's what I'm saying.
Go for
like,
it.
I don't mean they actually like we have to put Jim Carrey. It's like I think they put as soon as he came on set and did everything, he was 100% like, this is what I think robot would sound like. This is what he would act like, and he just went with it. He threw
What was his character?
Yeah, he was.
What was it?
Dr. Eggman, Dr. Robotnik.
So
Okay.
Eggman.
the episode you're probably thinking of was either episode 5
No.
or episode. It was either that
was way
or
later.
episode 11.
It was that far back
Yes,
that
it
you
was.
guys talked about
It
that?
was because anything after that they would have changed the trailer and we would have been more anticipated the movie more.
And you
I
came
think
like
I
at 12.
started. I was gonna say I think I started on 17, and that's kind of where I came in and said I don't know how it's gonna end up, but because they changed the CGI, you should go see it. And
I believe
support
you
it.
came in on 16.
16.
Because 15 because that was the one where I put featuring Zach.
Am I right?
So
I am
that was
right.
pretty close.
All right.
like-
yeah, no, he steals the show in this movie.
Yeah, like,
Really?
right
Because
now,
they just let him be Jim Carrey.
yeah,
in
like
this.
right now, I have a scene of one of the big scenes of Dr. Robotnik dancing on Sonic in the movie, and just every like how he moves, how the facial animations, everything he does just feels like it feels like old Jim Carrey back when he made Liar Liar and was doing like SNL stuff.
Yep.
Like never once was I
Evil Lab.
I like bored. And also it is got that kind of humor. It's really campy, but
But
look
that's what
at
you
it.
know you're going into.
It's just
You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
like seeing it, it was refreshing for me because growing up watching Jim Carrey be like this, and I haven't seen him like this in a very long time. This is just so great to see.
All right, so I wasn't throwing that out to you guys to mess with you. I was just curious.
No, I
because-
think-
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I'm
Like,
just
I
trying.
wanna
I'm trying
know.
to answer.
All right.
Like with all the.
I'll be honest.
Facts
I think
I
I
have.
have more fun. Detective Pikachu is a better movie.
That was pretty good. I like that.
Detective Pikachu
Sorry.
is technically a better movie, but I think I had more fun watching Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just Detective Pikachu. The stakes are so much higher. It feels like.
Detective Pikachu had the same problem with I guess not a problem, but it was Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, it
just
was.
as a
But
CGI
without,
character.
but
It's
without
like-
a good-looking Ryan Reynolds on the screen.
yeah, like
Yeah.
this, that was Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey pretending to play.
It
Dr.
worked for the movie,
Yeah.
but Detective Pikachu took itself pretty seriously.
Yeah.
For whereas Sonic doesn't take itself seriously at all. It knows what a goofy movie it is, and it leans into it a lot, which helps it so much.
And I think you can really tell that everyone had fun on this movie. Like the
Yeah.
guy that plays Sonic, I saw
Ben
an-
Schwartz.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz.
Which
I-
you know him from Parks and Rec. He's
Yeah.
on there, right?
Who
Yeah.
was he?
he plays the one
John
dude-
Ralphio.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Sonic.
He's so good at
but
That guy's great.
he there was an interview with him, and he even said like,
Now we sold him. We so sold him on Sonic.
yeah, a lot of the dialogue that he did, he just was like, how far can I go? And
Yeah.
he just pushed it, and they let him do that.
Did that
They
on
let-
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They let Jim Carrey do his thing. They let all the actors do their thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, this is how the story's supposed to be. Here's your script, but you can change it the way you want to change it.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really did feel it. It felt like it less with Sonic, which I understand because they kind of need him to do things per the script so
Yes.
that James Marsden can act correctly to it.
Yeah.
Because he's CG. But with Jim Carrey, you definitely feel like Jim Carrey's just doing Jim Carrey things.
The constant
Right.
like there's the joke in there that they do about the Olive Garden. The Olive Garden is a constant joke, but it's not like they're making fun of the Olive Garden. They just keep
No, it's just
talking
there.
about how
Yeah.
awesome the Olive Garden is.
So
Like,
did
it's
you
just-
guys? What was that Jim Carrey one where he is on a TV set?
Did
Did you see that?
Yeah, the one where his whole life
that's-
he's on a TV set.
it's arguably one of his most well-known ones.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
of course now we can't think of the name of it.
Right.
It's
Because when you're describing this, like letting him be him, to me, that's like
I'm gonna smack my head when I find out what this
That
is.
is-
Was it
just
when he was on
such-
SNL?
no,
No,
What you talking about?
It was
no. He's
Truman Show.
Truman Show.
yeah.
The Truman Show.
Like
But
along those lines.
no, like the last time I saw him act like Jim Carrey was probably Bruce Almighty was probably one of the last ones I saw him be like this. It's
Yeah.
just it was rough. It was very entertaining.
Because then he fell into the whole like the series of unfortunate events.
And then Jim
Cat in the Hat. No, that was Mike Myers. I'm thinking of The Grinch.
It was a
where
terrifying,
they very much felt like
thing.
they were very studio, like safe movies. So you have to act exactly this way
right.
so that we get money. It felt derivative of Jim Carrey in the 90s.
I forgot
They
that
didn't let him evolve.
I forgot he was in the Anchorman too. He was a part of the fight. He was one of the Canadian news
I didn't see
anchors.
That's great.
I think I saw the first one, but I didn't see it
but-
either. Anyway,
Yeah.
so have I effectively derailed
Yeah,
your
our show's
entire
pretty much
episode
ruined.
today?
Thanks,
Not really.
Dad.
Those are kind of the big ones I wanted to get to.
No, it's pretty much time to end.
Yeah.
We've hit
So yeah, thank you all for listening.
Thank
Are
you
we
for
done?
coming back, Don.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's always
We're-
fun.
Glad to have
at this
you.
point, you practically live here on the podcast.
Kinda.
So
a little bit.
you're practically another member.
Okay, so I just gotta bring this up. It's like still light out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's weird.
We did it.
It is 8:50
It's summer,
right now.
Don.
It is summer. But
It's not
it's
even.
weird.
It's not even the dead of summer yet.
Really?
It's gonna get worse in this room.
I'm not looking for. We're gonna have to listen. Everyone watching or listening, subscribe so we can buy a storage unit or something that we can air condition
or a
please.
quiet air conditioner.
Yes.
I can't have diarrhea anymore.
All right. On that
You
filthy
will.
note,
Ugh.
Sorry.
thank you all for listening.
You will.
Make sure you go and give us nice ratings on Apple Podcasts. Those help us a lot, and leave us a review.
It was that
Tell your friends
dang
about us.
buffalo
Word
I
of mouth
listen on
helps.
Spotify.
Thanks, Dad. Yeah, go ahead and listen to us on Spotify.
I don't have an Apple anything.
That's fine.
All right.
You listen however you like. We're available on all podcasting platforms. Tell your friends about us. Are you guys
Ryan's
done?
losing.
It was like, look at me, Dad. Be proud of me. I listen on Spotify.
That's great, Billy. Tell me more.
Oh, sure. When they give you a big grant, you'll be happy.
Oh, God.
And if you want
And
more,
you can thank me.
if you want to hear more antics like this, find them everywhere. Tell your friends to listen to it too. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Pop Culture Unboxing. You can find me at Matt Ross VO on Twitter.
Zach?
You can find me at _leaf LIEF
On
Twitter.
yeah.
Ryan?
You can find me at Red Steak Ryan pretty much anywhere.
You gonna plug yourself?
You
Or
want to give us some plugs?
Not really.
you're not gonna plug your business at all? Get a okay.
Doesn't want to be known with
a little
us.
weird, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. We'll see you guys all next week.
Yeah, have fun.
We meant to put a lot more DC on this, but it just
but
didn't
no.
happen.
Yeah, we
Oh,
just
I think
didn't
we
have the
talked
room.
pretty much the whole time was D. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, no. No. Actually,
Whoosh. All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.
that's actually a great way to end it.
All right, wait, no. You guys are all laughing. But you know what? I've done enough of this.
All right.
It is
I
really
know how I'm gonna
nice.
incorporate this
It
already.
is really nice having a click to say,
It's a
okay,
new audio
everything before
track.
that, everything before that, get rid of.
We came back to tell you that we want to thank all of the people who started listening recently. We've had a lot of new listeners lately, and yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. So hit us up on Facebook and or
Spotify.
Twitter, Facebook or Twitter, and let us know how you found us.
Let us know how you feel about all of us laughing while we're trying to tell you something.
All right, thanks. Bye again.
Wait. 1, 2, 3.